Hello again, YouTube. So today I wanted to talk about backing paper and potential uses of the wrapping paper you can get from various hobby stores or even online retailers. That's what I've been using so far. So I wanted to do this as quickly as possible because I don't have a lot of information about it, and I wanted to get it out there to see if other people have some advice or some potential other options available. So I'm going to turn the overhead camera on and show you what I have. All right, coming up first, I wanted to talk about some successes yesterday of the paper that I got from Jam. Jam, I believe it's jam.com. I'm not positive. This stuff seems to work really well, but it's not 100% light tight. If you're going to use it in something that has a rear window, the potential for light to get through and damage the film is pretty high. But it's going to be little dots, tiny little pinpoints. They're not going to be as bad as, say, the stuff that I was using from Amazon. This stuff. Let me get a flashlight and kind of demonstrate this. All right, armed with my flashlight. This is the Amazon stuff. And this is the Jam stuff. You don't see anything, but if you get close. Oh man, it's hard to show. I can see it here. Let me turn off some lights. Yeah, it's difficult to show. I don't know if it's picked up or not. It's burning the paper. My flashlight is smoking the paper. That's hilarious. Okay. This stuff's pretty light tight, but the potential is still there for getting some issues with light bleed. It could show up if you, especially if you're making something for a camera that has a rear window. You really don't want to use it. I'm trying to find something here to demonstrate. It's not like you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So, if you don't keep this covered, it's good chance that it's still going to have some issues with the Jam stuff. Today, however, I did find the Celebrate brand from Michaels. I'm not 100% sure if this stuff is great, but it has similar properties to the Jam stuff, and it's cheaper and you get more of it. This was $8 for 30 inches by 16 feet, and I think this was $10 plus shipping, and it's 33 feet by 18 inches. And then finally, the last thing I want to talk about with backing paper is attempting to reuse old backing paper. This is typically okay, but some of this stuff is so fragile that it'll rip the first time you try and use it, which is what happened to me with my circuit camera. It was not very good idea to try and reuse it, but I did get one full roll without any light leaks from this. I had other issues with the bellows, but that's a different story. Making 3D printed spools is something that I've been trying to do recently because I don't have access to the number 6 outfit spools. So I've been making my own, and then the same thing with the number 10. Talk about the spools a little bit more in depth, especially the 3D printed ones. So yesterday I went out and successfully daytime loaded my camera. I put the first spool in on the couch, and then when I left and shot that spool, I sat down on the ground and I opened up the back of the circuit camera after I'd wrapped it back up and was able to successfully swap that out without light problems or any light bleed or light leaks or whatever. That was with the Amazon paper as the beginning leader of the spool, which really does not matter, and then the Jam paper being the end of the spool that was supposed to prevent all light from coming in and potentially fogging the film. So the jam stuff works. It's just you want to have at least 2 layers and you'll be fine. But again, if it's going to be something that has a window, you're going to have potential problems. These are some other, I think this is a 122 spool. Tried to reuse it once off of the brand new roll it was, and it just started falling apart. It's not something that's really viable in my opinion. Some of these spools are coming up on 100 years old now. They're just not, especially like the 122 stuff, the 101 stuff. I don't even remember when Kodak, I think it was 1957 is when Kodak stopped allowing 122 to be produced. 101, 105, 104, 103. A whole bunch of films just got ended in the 50s, and so now you're having to deal with stock that's 60, 70, 80 years old, and it's not really worth it anymore. Now, I successfully reused the Amazon stuff multiple times with my All Vista camera, but it does not have a rear window, or it's not supposed to. And so there really wasn't any issue. It was only there to help with the counter. And as long as that's what it's good for, you can buy this stuff for cheap and reuse it multiple times without issue. I did. An experiment that I did not too long ago, where I took some acrylic paint and put on 1 or 2 coats to the Amazon paper, worked out really well for blocking light. This is probably going to start smoking it too. It blocks out all light. So as far as painting numbers on the back of something like this, it is possible that this could be used for that. But I came into some potential issues with painted backing paper, at least with the acrylic. Acrylic's supposed to be inert once it's plasticized. Once it becomes plastic, or once it is dry, it's supposed to be completely inert and shouldn't interfere with anything. But I had issues, and I want to show that right now. About 24 hours after I finished painting my backing paper, I went ahead and loaded up a roll to go photograph in infrared. The sensitivity of the infrared is usually around ISO 6 to 12, depending on what I use to develop it in. You can see all of this in here. This is supposed to be grass. It should be pretty dark on the negative, but it's not. And I believe there's a loss of sensitivity because of the paint. I don't think I let it dry long enough. Same thing with this. This is all grass in here. There's trees and brush. And then this is all grass as well. The sky looks great. The definition in here is awesome. But there's a severe loss of sensitivity in the infrared range, which makes it not usable, at least potentially not usable. I need to do another batch and wait longer and see if it'll work. The reason why I think the potential for it still exists, ignore the fact that these are out of focus, but the bulk of the image has detail and information that was recorded, but the very edge lost some information. Same thing here, and same thing here. All 3 of these shots were shot on the Alvista 5B, and seemed to come out with more than enough information here. The reason why it's out of focus is I found out that somebody reassembled the lens incorrectly when I bought it. All I had to do was figure that out and swap the elements around, and I got it in focus. So this isn't an issue anymore. But you can clearly see that there is a loss of information here. That could have been from the lens being incorrectly assembled, but I'm not going to assume anything until I try it again and let the paper dry for longer. These are the 2. This is for a number 6 outfit, and this is for a number 10. Both of these are designs that I created without any examples to begin with. I don't have any outfits or regular 10 spools. I only have the couple of number 6s, which is a standard circuit camera, not the style that I have. I'm still kind of learning on this stuff, and with yesterday's success, I'm going to be pushing forward with getting the number 10 finished. The number 10 film, I have a piece here. This is the full width of the stuff that I'm using, the Agfa Avifote, and you can see that there's a significant difference in size. About a 3/8 of an inch, I believe. So it'll have a bit of room, so less problems with any light bleed. So I can be a little bit more carefree on the paper that I use, but not 100% sure if the paper I'm using is still good. It's not acid free and it's not archival, so it's not something that I fully recommend. I would say if you're going to do this in the short term, like the night before or a couple of days before, it's fine. I've let film for my 3B set in this roll for up to a month, and it does not affect the Agfa Avifote. So as far as the Amazon stuff goes, if you don't need to have it perfectly light tight and you can load it before you leave the house and you don't have a window on your camera, this stuff will work fine for the time being. It's not perfect, but it does not affect the film, at least for a month worth of sitting. The number 10, I've had some problems with the lens. The main lens that it came with does not open past f8. It doesn't even actually hit f8. It's a little bit below that. It's probably about f10, f9. It's supposed to be a 10 inch, but I've noticed that the 10 inch is incorrect. It's more like an 11 inch because my two 10 inch lenses that I have an Elgate f4.5 10 inch and a Fujinon f 5.6, was it a 250 millimeter, which is roughly 10 inches. It does not. It is actually far less than where the scale is on my number 10, so I have to figure that out. I've been thinking that it's probably better if I just go with something like a 300. I have a Simar 300 500 convertible that I'm thinking about just installing on it so I can use instead of focusing on trying to get the 10 inch to work. This gives me better room, and this is actually closer to the original lens than the 10 inches. This is 11.9 inches or 11.8 inches, and the one that's on there seems like it's right at 11. It's really close to the 10 inch scale, so that's why I'm like, I don't know why they listed that lens as a 10 inch. It's clearly not. It's like an 11 inch or a 10.9 or something. This is close to that scale, and I think if I print a 60 tooth gear, this will work with a 60 tooth, maybe a 61 tooth. I haven't actually done the math. I'm still a little fuzzy on how that works, but that's neither here nor there. I'll be focusing on that at a different time. For right now, I need to finish making better backing paper, and that's what I need your help with. If you have any advice or any experience making backing paper, or know of a supplier that isn't 1,000-foot rolls of 36-inch wide paper, drop a comment. Let me know. Get with me on Instagram or on Reddit or any. I'll leave all the links of that stuff in the description, and I'll leave links to where you can buy the different papers I have used as well as the paint. But for the time being, I don't think I'm going to be able to rely on mass producing it to just throw in my bag and not worry about it. The paint needs to be tested more, or find another paint or another varnish of some kind that I can use to coat the paper that doesn't affect the film after it's been coated. That's really all I'm at. If you have any advice, please leave a comment. Get in touch with me. Let me know. I'll shout you out. I'll do whatever. I just need some help. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching.